and hello good people of the internet. It's I, Tommy Kelly. This is Adventures in Woo, and this is another one of those monthly Patreon one-card divinations that we do every month here on the channel for the patrons over on Patreon. If you want in on this, just join up at any level from level 2 and above, and the thread goes up on the first of every month for you to add your question. So, without any further ado, let's get into this. Ian, what obstacles will I have to overcome this month? Oh, so interesting. It is the librarian reversed. So, this is to suggest that there could be a thing of your obstacle would be that you could have maybe too much access to knowledge. You know, there's too much out there and you wouldn't know where to start. That there's just too wide of, a wide amount of different things you could study. It could also mean that you're collecting books or collecting information, downloading files, attaining a huge collection of PDFs in folders that are never read or that are never truly engaged with. So it's like, what is the version of the librarian where it runs counter to what it should be? So it's storing information for no use. It's storing useless information, getting bogged down in, the actual getting everything, kind of collected. It's in kind of manic collecting rather than actually reading books, which is nothing wrong with manic collecting. I'm guilty of it myself. But in this case, the obstacle, I would say, Ian, is that either there's too many options for you to look at that it'll be hard for you to see which area to focus on, or indeed, you're not actually getting in and actually reading the books, reading the information, you're just collecting the information. Okay. Stephen, what can I do to relieve mental load? The Levitator. So, this is going to be easy to say or less easy to apply, but it's just saying to look at it from a different angle, to rise above it. It's very hard to really see a problem, your own problem, while you're in it, which is why it's also so much easier to give other people good advice and not give yourself good advice, because you're embroiled in it, you're in the emotion of it, all of those type of things, and it's very hard to see out of it. But it's kind of, the mental load is just to rise above it, to see it from a different angle, to not be bogged down in it. I suppose it's a call not to take it so seriously, which can often be quite annoying to hear. Go, well, I can't not take this seriously. But it's saying that to lighten the load and to relieve your mental load, is to just kind of try not to get entrenched in it. Try to kind of see it from outside it, and rise above it, whatever is the mental load. Don't feel you have to take on all of these things. If you have a mental load, make sure that you're in a position where you can take a break or offload that, or just not be so hard on yourself. But the Levitator, just rise above it. Easier said than done. Sarah, what energy should I lead with this month? The Seer. So I would suggest just, be aware of how you're feeling and be aware of what your gut is saying, and rather than how appearances appear to you. Just have a go. If you get a sense of something, then follow it. With the usual caveat of going, don't mistake intuition for anxiety, or or don't use kind of intuition as a way to avoid things. You can usually tell the difference between anxiety and intuitions, but it can be hard. It can be hard. But it's kind of, the suggestion here is have a feel of the month, and go with your gut rather than what things look like on paper, what things look like through appearances, what people are saying to you, or how things are being presented, and just go more by feel. Snowy, how do I accomplish my immediate goals? The Lovers. So I would suggest that this is probably saying something along the way of rather than think of them, as something that has to be grasped, something that's out there, become comfortable with them. relax into them. Kind of don't. There's like, but the thing with the lovers, it's after the spark, it's after the lust, it's after the fireworks of the initial relationship. It's more when things come together and that the relationship blossoms and you're in a comfortable kind of place. So it's saying to become more comfortable with your goals rather than, I suppose, maybe striving for them or stressing about them or putting pressure on yourself. It's just seeing it as this is, just relax into it and just kind of come into a gentle feeling of acceptance or, okayness or, that everything doesn't have to be fireworks, big motion, big gestures, high intensity, all of that. It's just relax down into it a bit. Stephanie, should I pursue my art and writing as a career or as a hobby or both? Well, I think the best way to word this for one card divination would be, what advice can be offered for Stephanie around her art and writing? Chest. Okay. The chest, I suppose, is about cutting back or not giving into pleasures or not giving into, it's like there's the discipline involved, I suppose. That's what really in relation to this. So it's saying what you should become is become more disciplined with your art and writing and see if it's actually even something that you would enjoy doing as a career. Because there's an awful lot of time with these hobbies that we have or these interests that we have are brilliant because they're not work, because they're a way to get away from work, a way to get away from the stress. And a lot of people, certainly myself at different times, have, kind of felt that, if only I could do this as my job. And then that turns into your job. And so the thing that you once loved becomes the thing that is your job, becomes the thing that is that you have to get up every morning and turn yourself on to do, or even when you're not in the mood. I suppose saying that they're having the chaste look at it, the disciplined look at it, the, kind of contracted, I suppose, in some way look at it is to kind of see if this is how would you feel about doing this every day, doing writing every day or doing art every day when you weren't in the mood or you didn't feel that you had to, the inspiration or whatever. And try that for a while before you switch it from being a hobby to your work. Because you may find, brilliant, I love this. This is exactly what I want to do. Or you may go, oh no, this is much better as a hobby, as a release, as something away from, my work. Not, because, to commodify your art and to monetize your art really puts it in a different place than it normally is. And that can be tough. Some people can really, work well with that. Some people don't. So treat it as a job for a while and see how you like it. Alex, what's the most important thing the 40 servants need to tell me at this moment? The Guru. This would be saying that you probably have an awful lot of practical knowledge, or you have an awful lot of knowledge, and you could be stored an awful lot of different ideas, and you have done an awful lot of reading and courses and lectures and know an awful lot of things. But the thing that you have to focus on is the practical use of it. Actually do something with it. You can read every book you want on meditation, but you have to meditate. So this is what the Guru would be saying, that it's a call to do something practical with the knowledge you have, rather than just attain more more knowledge, actually do something with it. If you can, not being an armchair magician or an armchair occultist who just reads about it and talks about it online or whatever, actually do some magic. And you'd be surprised just how many people who are into magic don't actually do any magic. And so this would be a call to do stuff. Go and do stuff rather than learn new stuff or trying to discover something, that will, the final key that will unlock everything, and then you'll go and do it. It's like the best way to do a podcast is to start doing podcasts rather than waiting till you're brilliant at doing podcasts or whatever it is. Same for painting. Just start painting, and that's when the actual real learning happens. But you can watch all the Bob Ross videos you want and, look at all the art you want, but until you actually start doing it, you're not actually on the road. So I would say whatever it is that you're working towards, to get on the road with it, get practical with it, start doing it. Barbara, Some advice from me from the Fourth Servant about my study career. Okay. Okay, the idea. Some advice. I suppose that there's something new. I suppose that one way you could say that maybe saying, there's a new area that maybe you could look into to study or something like that, that there's something that you could tend to that could grow into something else that's, it's not necessarily something that you're paying an awful lot of attention to, or that indeed you could see your studies currently as rather then say you were just kind of going, well, I'm not really sure if I'm into what I'm studying, but this is kind of could lead you on to where you actually want to be, that you will find, even if it's just a case of learning that you don't want to do that, it could also be a case that it moves you towards something that you wouldn't have done otherwise, and therefore you recognise something that you wouldn't have recognised, and you know a bit more about what your vocation is. So something about a new idea, something that's very fresh, that needs to be tended to, that will disappear if you don't. It's like trying to grasp these ideas, these intuitions, and because they'll go on to someone else. They'll move along. People have ideas of people, not people have ideas. So there's something that is looking to give birth through you with regard to your studies and your study career. And you should be on the watch out for that. Okay, His Vinceness. What servant can help me be of service to myself this month? Your man Vince. Interesting, Vince. The Father. I mean, what more can I really say about that? I suppose the best be of service to yourself is to be as, well, I suppose I was going to say to be a father, but if it's to yourself, then it's to be a father for yourself, and it's supposed to be there for yourself, and to because the father in many ways can seem a bit like an aloof card or servant, or a bit uncaring, but father cares very, very deeply, as much as the mother does. It's just that how he loves is very different, in that he wants the person, the son, the daughter, the child, to be self-sufficient and to be able to do all the things for themselves without having to be reliant on other people. Whereas the mother's quite happy to do all these things and look after, in an archetypical sense. I don't mean in the real world. So I suppose to apply the father to yourself, and is say that, well, sometimes you just have to do the things and you just have to go through it, and to, in a sense, kind of, and this could be, I suppose, with regard to your study that you're going through as well, that you just have to do it. You have to do the work, and you have to be firm with yourself, but loving. Like a firm but fair, but not kind of escape out of it or avoid it or anything like that. But just do the thing. And the best way to be of service to yourself is to be the father to yourself and have that kind of approach to yourself, that no one else can do it for you, and you're better to become self-reliant. Grayson, what should I be aware of this month? The eye. The eye, to be aware of this month, is that things are the way they are, and that's okay, and that's exactly how they're meant to be, whether that's for good or for bad, in the sense of from your perspective, that things are okay. There's no need to push, there's no need to pull. It's not saying that you just coast either. It's just going, whatever's going on is the thing that's going on, and that's right. So there's no need to be worried or fret about it if things aren't going as quick as you want, or if things are going too quick or whatever it is. It's just everything is going at its own pace in the right direction, even if it doesn't seem so from your perspective. Just a simple, everything is okay, everything is fine. Just relax, I suppose. That's a nice one, Grace. Max, how can I get the best returns out of my current project? the conductor. So it would be to make sure that you're leading and that you're doing the thing you want and that you're in control and you're not following, that you are your current practice, you're in control of it, that you're not trying to let other people or the world or the universe or your past or the voices in your head tell you what it is that you should be doing or what you should be achieving or what it should sound like or look like or whatever it is, and to have it as a pure expression of what you want. You are the conductor. You are the person making the music. You are the person, even in the sense of the conductor isn't even necessarily the person who writes the music in the sense of that but he's in control. He's control. He says what happens. He has access all the different things, all the different players, all the different sounds, all the different, but he controls the pace. He controls the rhythm. He controls what happens, the dynamics, all of these things. So that's how to get the best return, is to be the conductor and approach it from that point of view. Abraxas. What do I need to do? The monk. Simplify, retreat. It's but not running away. It's about returning to center, to finding something sacred again. It's the monk is in the darkness, but there's a light still there. There's a light on him. He's still illuminated. He hasn't disappeared into the darkness. He's still doing the thing, but it's simplifying it. There's nothing. He's not surrounded by things. He's just surrounded by emptiness. So that it's in simplifying, retreating, sanctuary, restoring yourself, having a fresh look, taking yourself away from the drama, removing yourself in some ways from different things. But it's not running away. It's just centering yourself. So centering yourself. What do I need to do? You need to center yourself and pull back a bit, but not run away. Craig, regarding DB girl, who is she to me? Okay. So, reversed levitator. She's someone who is going to get you bogged down, get you embroiled and embedded in possibly drama, in make things heavier, make things more complicated, and it'll be a contraction in some way that it'll allow you to only see in one certain way, coming down. Yeah, so it's like the levitator himself is rising above it. It's seeing it from a different angle. So it's seeing it from a very singular angle, a singular way, a contraction, getting more embedded and buried and bogged down in the stuff, in the drama, in the things or whatever. So, yeah, be careful with that, I suppose. Coco. Am I following the right course of study? The adventurer. Well, this would be kind of saying that probably, but that you need to in some way widen the scope of it, or in some way, or be a bit more adventurous around it, not be as safe about it. But also, there's just like, but the adventure, it's usually a physical thing. So it's like maybe. So I don't know what the situation, but it would be rather than doing a home study course, it would say that you maybe need to actually go to college or go to a class or something like that. It'd be a bit more adventurous. Physically, movement, something out, but there is a sense the arms are outstretched, it's widening, it's opening yourself up to something, to be a bit more open to something in regards to the right course of study. But I would suggest that it is, but it's just to do a bit more, or like it is the right course, but there's something bigger, something more expansive that needs to be, whether that be a new location, or showing up in some way, but it's definitely a call to widen in some way. Ladina, which servant will be the most helpful with my magical projects this month? the fixer. So just getting the work, doing what has to be done, paying the price, If your magical work involves you getting up at dawn every morning, get up at dawn every morning. Or whatever it is, if you need to be outside under the full moon, then make sure you're under the full moon. Do the thing that actually has to be done rather than your own version of it, or rather than a lazy man's version of it, or whatever it is. So the fixer, whatever it is that needs to be done, has to be done. And there's no two ways around it. Okay. Philip, what is important for me this month? Oh, card jumping out there, Philip. The Father. So, it's come up earlier, but to re-say it, it's the Father. The important thing about the Father is that, not that you were alone. No one is alone. The Father is always with you. It's just that there's things in life that have to be done that only you can do. There's only things that you can deal with. There's only things that you can heal for yourself. There's only things that you can go through. There's rites of passages that have to happen, and no one else can do them for you. No one else can suffer your broken heart. You know what I mean? No one else can learn something that you have to learn. Like if someone else learns something for you, you haven't learned it. There's no way of taking that learning from someone else. You have to do it. You have the person, if you're sick, that has to heal. People can help you, but ultimately it's you. But it's while there's advice and guidance and company and love around us, the Father would suggest that you just have to do it. It's something that you have to do by yourself because no one else can do it for you. But I'm here. I'll offer you all my support, all my learning, everything I know about it, but ultimately you have to take your own driving test. No one else can do it for you, or whatever it is. Jane, I'm working on important health goals. What advice can the servants offer towards my success and achievement? This is, of course, not medical advice in any fashion. It's just something to consider. An opinion from a friend over coffee, etc., etc. It's certainly not in any way medical advice, and the best person to get medical advice from is from a medical practitioner. The media. This so often comes up when with regard to health, and it's kind of the suggestion is that try and rather than look at it how you will feel about yourself, or it's more about how will this affect how the world sees you, or how you present yourself, or how you're in the best situation to put your best foot forward, to glow, and to whatever, go out into the world and get what you want. It's like it's about the PR of it, and that it seems a very interesting thing, because it seems like it's almost saying that you need to say you're going to diet, but for other people, so other people will accept you, whatever. And on the surface, that's what it might appear, but I don't think at all that's what it's saying. It's saying like how much better it will be for you in the world, presenting yourself to the world when you're in better health, perfect health, good health, whatever the health goal is. And it's a call, I suppose, away from going inside and only seeing it from your point of view or from your perspective, or we're very hard on ourselves a lot of the time, so it's probably likely that we don't have the best appreciation of where we are from a health point of view, and that maybe it's to try and push away from that. I find it very interesting, but it comes up so much with regard to health questions, the media, that it's something I really have to sit and think about, because how often it comes up. But hopefully in some way it resonates with you or makes some sort of sense to you around that. Indy, how can I connect more with my authentic self and live more in line with that? Okay. This card jumped. The Protector. So the thing would be to protect your authentic self, to allow it to be in a situation, mental space that is conducive to being able to express itself, to be open, to be out, to not feel that it's going to be attacked, to not feel that it's going to be squashed, that it's going to be told it's wrong, or, in any of these type of things. Now, this is, of course, hard because, our authentic self is buried deep within us because we're trying to protect it and, make sure that no one can destroy it. And oftentimes, it then becomes like a rejection. We'll never let that out. We'll never show the world what we truly are or whatever. So I would say my advice, and I suppose, would be to take baby steps and find ways that you can bring out your authentic self in different situations or different places. Usually, creativity is great for this. Talking to a close friend, all of these things, but in a space of trust and protection, and really, really baby steps encourage that authentic self to come out so that it doesn't come out, get crushed by something and then run away forever. Just be very kind of, careful with it and just be, honour it, cherish it, and in some ways, I suppose, treat it like you would, the beloved or the child or a baby or something that just needs to be protected, but also has to grow, has to express itself. All of those things. You can't, don't overprotect it, but keep it safe. Cat. Should I look into legal avenues for the issues I have dealt with or let it go? Clearly also, like the medical question, this is not legal advice. Okay, not legal advice. The contemplator. Should I look into legal avenues with the issues I recently dealt with or let it go? By and large, it would say let it go, in the sense of that the contemplator is your subconscious, and a way to engage with that is by trying to get it out of your focus. It's like when you're trying to remember the name of an actor or whatever it is, name of a book, name of a car, whatever, by racking your brain through it, it often makes it harder to do it. But if you can put it out of your mind, the solution, the answer usually comes. So this, to me, would suggest within the context of this question that it would be saying to let it go. And that's not to say that it won't end up legal, it won't end up something else happening, or you won't end up pursuing it. But for the moment, the clearest, or the thing to do would be just to kind of let it go and percolate in the back of the mind or into subconscious or whatever. And if something comes out of it, well and good. If it doesn't, then you were right to let it go. Again, not legal advice. Red egg. How can I best retain focus on my goals this month? The healer. To make sure that you're spending enough time healing, recovering, getting enough sleep, looking after yourself. If your focus was for your goals was to run, a marathon every single day, good luck to you for a start. But to make sure that you're allowing enough sleep and allowing enough time to recuperate and to heal and to, that you're eating right and all of these things. So it's to look after yourself. So to retain your focus would be make sure you're getting enough water, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're getting enough exercise, make sure you're hanging around with the right people, make sure you're reading the, books that aren't stressing you, stay off social media if it's annoying you, stop watching the news, all of these things. Look after yourself. And, that'll help you to retain your focus. Catherine. How can I keep the positive momentum? How can I keep the positive momentum going this month? The road opener. By looking for new avenues and new ways that you can keep running to. It's I suppose this idea of like, how do you keep the momentum going? Well, make sure you don't get to the end of the road. Make sure you don't go down a blind alley. Make sure you don't go into a cul-de-sac. Run down that road. If you see somewhere turning off that looks like it might open into a more wider road or whatever, all right, then go with it. Look for a way to move into new areas before it gets stale, before the resources run out on your current track. Like that you need to move off the trajectory in some way into a slightly different path or something. That, like, it doesn't have to be a completely different thing or or anything like that, but just to, if you stay going exactly the way you are, you're going to end up in stale territory. So there needs to be some sort of movement, some sort of new move, some sort of change slightly in the direction, but still going forward. Chris, what should I do to feel more confident about my finances this month? Oakley. The eye. To know that that's just the way it is, whatever it is. Things, ebbs and flows, swings and roundabouts, ups and downs. And to probably understand that the current situation isn't, the way it's going to be forever. Like say you're in a bad place financially, which I assume you must be in some way, or you wouldn't be answering the question. No one asks a question for divination about finances when, finances are fantastic. Unless, I suppose, you're looking for a way to capitalise on a sudden lottery win or something, or a windfall. But it's just, everything is okay. Don't worry about it too much. Don't blow it off, or don't think that's nothing to worry. But just, you have this, you know what to do. You don't need to worry about it. Things are the way they are. So feel more confident. Well, know that your probably decisions or your gut feelings or what it is that you're attempting to do is, again, not financial advice in any way, but to trust yourself. Just trust yourself. Even if it ends up that it was completely wrong, from an investment point of view or whatever it is, that it's still right in many ways, because there's still the learning from it, it's still the thing, there's still it's the way it's meant to be. Whatever is happening, and there's nothing you can do to change about it, and it's the right thing that's meant to be happening, or is just another way of saying, rather than it's the right thing, because there's a judgment there, it's just what's happening. So if the investments, the stock market suddenly goes up or suddenly go down, it's not to do with your level of confidence. That's just the way things are sometimes. But trust yourself and trust the process. Not financial advice. DT, what can I do to develop my intuition and receive more downloads from the universe? Always good to get the downloads. I love it when it happens. One of my favourite things. Interesting. The eye is all over the place this month. To not try to develop it, to not try to push it, to not force it, to not demand it, to not be watching the kettle of it boil, to just allow it to be. These things happen when they happen, and the more you force it or the more you try to do it, the less it's going to happen, because it in some way blocks the flow, blocks things. It becomes this kind of yearning, a wanting, an exasperation, a kind of a need, a drive, almost like a lust, a drug lust, something. Give me the download. Just relax, let it be, let it happen of its natural accord. And you'll get the downloads when you get the downloads, and it'll be the right downloads, and you'll be in the best position to have them. But if you're forcing them, not only are you not going to get them, it's going to be harder to get them. So yeah, just chill out, man. Or chill out, person. I do not know if you're male or female. I meant man in the gender neutral sense anyway. So that's it for another month for the 1-card readings. We'll be doing some more readings over the next while. There'll be some 3-card readings, some 5-card readings, and at least one 9-card reading. As I say, we do these at the beginning of every month over on the Patreon as reward for the fantastic support that all of my patrons give me. Really very, very humbled and privileged person to be in the position I am, to have such wonderful people supporting me. And it's nice to be able to give something back, however small even a 1-card reading is. But hopefully you found it helpful. As I say, if you want in on us, just head over to the Patreon. The links will be in the show description. And from level 2 onwards, that's who gets the card readings. There is a free tier and a kind of legacy tier as well there, but that doesn't get you a reading. Yes, good people of the internet, may your best days be ahead, and be well.